Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to have on an amazing talk today, Adam Mordechai Klasner, who is a coach, a facilitator of self-discovery, teacher of Chassidut, the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, and the Chabad teachings specifically. And Adam runs amazing exclusive men's workshops that allow people to discover themselves, to find themselves through a program called Finding Anochi, as well as doing executive coaching and many other beautiful things. You create amazing transformative spaces that empower men. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Adam. So happy to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Anochi, what you have going on. And we're going to have an amazing discussion tonight about healing in general and many different topics that are included inside that world.
Thank you for this get together. I know this has been definitely a decent amount of time in the making, so it's nice to finally be here. It's a bit weird to put these headphones on because I'm actually like I can't hear anything around me because they're noise canceling. But I'll tell you, okay, so my name is Adam Mordechai. That's how I go by in the spaces that we're going to be describing today and the topics, because I am one of the founders of an organization called Anochi. It's Finding Anochi on the social platforms, but it's Anochi, just simple, no extra additives to it. And what we've been building is a movement to help guide Jewish men through what I would call a sacred journey of self-discovery. And that's why it's called Anochi, like mi Anochi, who am I? So what we do is we empower men to step into actualization, becoming themselves, reconnecting to the essence of who they are. And it's grounded in faith. It's guided by these timeless Jewish messages, deep ancient wisdom. And we also mix with that some of the most advanced practices of emotional well-being. And the reason we're doing it is because how many Jewish men like myself and like I was more in a dysfunctional way, but how many of us carry these invisible burdens where we're struggling to meet expectations first as, you know, I'm a provider. If I'm married, I'm a provider. I'm automatically a provider. And it's in my nature, if I'm not married yet, to become a provider. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a leader, and also a Jew who has to manage all these things in religion. And sometimes I'm feeling, while I'm doing all those roles, distant from my inner self. It's almost like I'm standing at the center of a tightrope between doing what I'm supposed to do and doing what I want to do, and it's like it's so narrow. I never really quite feel balanced. That's the way a lot of my life was. So me, for myself, I was surviving. I was in survival mode until I experienced a workshop myself. And I had some of the right people. I aligned myself with some people that had real wisdom and help to help me in my circumstance, which we'll probably talk about at some point today. But just like a mashpia or a spiritual mentor, I give people mentorship to give them modern tools and to be able to have real live breakthroughs in my life today. I think what makes us unique as we're doing it, I know you didn't ask, but I'll just tell you, is there's these proven methodologies out there. They're the latest and the greatest modalities of healing that exist in the world today. And we take our Torah, which is, you know, the ancient wisdom of Kabbalah, Hasidus, and we fuse those two wisdoms together. We make Torah applied. We put it, as my partner would say, we start looking at life three-dimensionally. Because working on yourself, in the end of the day, is not about sitting in theory or an idea. It's about guiding men safely back to their bodies to reconnect with who they are, which has been something that they've been taught that wasn't okay. And that's a generational pattern. That's something that we as Jewish men have been carrying for a long time.
But just off that idea, as you see now in our world, right, there is such an emphasis on a healing. People are talking about it. You know, what used to be right? Like it used to be like this with therapy, where in the Jewish world it was like frowned upon if you went to therapy, and then like everybody all of a sudden had a therapist. So now too, people are trying to go to workshops. People are trying to invest in themselves and to take a few days off to go to a healing retreat. And so much of this is going on. What do you think are the biggest? I mean, the reason why it's happening, it's clear. There's the spiritual reason that we're getting closer to Mashiach, and we have to get healthier. We have to get healthier. And then there's the more gashmi, the more material side of this world where people are going through a lot. People are going through a lot, like you said, right? Juggling a lot of different roles and having to meet a lot of different standards and expectations, and it can get a lot. So people need healing. But what are some of the misconceptions that you've experienced when people come up, like where you either offered them an opportunity to join a workshop or they asked you some questions and they completely just don't understand what it is that we're talking about?
Yeah, so it's a great question. What I think you're saying is like, why people would resist doing work on themselves when, in the end of the day, we should all be into it because who doesn't want a better life? Who doesn't want to bring more connectedness and achdus and all that kind of stuff? And what I've found is in the people that generally come on our workshops is, unfortunately, how it's been is they're mostly in a desperate spot in life where they're coming in and they believe they're broken. They believe that they've tried so many different things, and this is like do or die. Like, I'm about to get divorced, or I'm about to drop religion, or I'm just really in such a down place, something has to change, or things are going to get really bad. So most people that come are in that situation. Then there's the guys that you'll find that aren't coming because they just don't know that this is out there, which is part of why we're doing this today. Is I'm actually in the mode, and what I've been trying to do is as part of my mission is what I want to do is I'm on a mission to scale this movement that I've been working on for 12 years, is coming in a way of having a stronger digital presence. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create strong content that's deeply relevant to today's Jewish man. It could be short, impactful reels or collaborative projects like this with amazing leaders like yourself who are taking on to spread the light in such a strong way. Or we're doing it in an immersive program. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to teach people that there are answers out there. So a lot of people just don't know that this is available, don't know that they have a space and that it's possible to work on themselves, especially what the world has taught us, especially in the times of COVID, which, what I know it feels distant, but it was just here in our backyard, is that people have a way of just following rules and going along with the program, whatever people tell them. So what we've been told is if you have anxiety today, take Ativan, take anti-anxiety pills, because you don't want to have to feel that way. You need to function. You need to be successful. You need to do stuff with your life. So take the pill and you'll be fine. And people do feel fine. And then they can function. But in the process, they're losing their connection to themselves. So people don't know it's available. People have been misinformed. And then there's the people that have told themselves that I'm okay. I'm actually good. Like, I have a good life. I have a pretty wife. I have 4 healthy children. I have, money in my bank account, etc., etc. And they think this work is about the people that are messed up. And what I want to teach people and inform people is this is not work for people who are messed up. This is work for people who want to actualize their potential. The only reason that the desperate people have been coming is because we've been organic for the better half of 12 years, let's say 11 years. It's been word of mouth, and now we're finally putting ourselves out there, and it's slowly catching fire, because what I believe is maybe it's not the truth that exists in the world, the one truth, but it's been my journey of truth through the stuff that I have had to face in my life, and it's really worked. And then 1,800 men following me along that path has been a sign to me that there's something here. There's something that holds a certain sense of power. So I need to put myself out there. And so that's what I've been
Definitely.
trying to do.
Definitely, it's needed. More people are asking for these things. Centers are needed everywhere. Obviously, you're in Canada, right? But close enough for people in New York to come visit. Anybody in the U.S. who wants to fly there and to visit anyone from across the world, right? But you see that things like this are happening and popping up here and there in every Jewish community, and you see it in the world as well, right? People are taking their eating more seriously, taking their health more seriously, in physical health and mental health. You see that even that there's apps now, right, for meditation and for all these things that are mainstream, that you get memberships as part of a corporate team. Like you, the world is coming to this place, and Mizat Hashem is going to bring us all to a higher level of consciousness and more connection. Like the Ramchal talks about it in Derech Hashem, that the point of the creation was that soul and body will unify with the Creator. Since the sin of Adam Rishon, the body can't get to that level anymore, so death has to happen for it to get rectified. But the ideal was, and it will come back to that point, right? It will come back to that point when we get this consciousness that there will be peace between the body and the soul. And it's also the Torahs that I've been teaching now and trying to get out there more in my weekly classes are Torahs aligned with this, with inner peace, understanding different types of souls, fixing relationships, having the right approach to them, and breath work, etc. So it's Baruch Hashem, we're lucky to be people that care about this enough to try to spread this message and to do it more and to help others. And there's so many different facets that go into this healing. I wanted to talk a little bit about breath work. I wanted to understand. I know you have some secrets of closing one nostril, closing the other nostril, breathing through the nose, and different things that are important to you. How? Tell me a little bit about your journey and your understanding of the importance of breath work and what's opened up for you over the past few years.
Okay, so a little bit about my journey, but a little bit about breath work. So there's different questions, but I would say like this. 12 years ago, in my first breathwork experience, which was on a workshop, I had no idea what was going to happen. Literally, I was told, close your eyes. You're going to stand. I was in a circle. You're going to stand with your eyes closed. We weren't wearing blindfolds. And you're just going to do this circular breath where you're going to breathe through your mouth, and it's supposed to get intense. Now, I thought this is like revving us up for something. Like I thought this is going to be a whole rebirthing process, whatever that means. They're going to take off all our clothes. They're going to put us in the pool and bring us, like, my mind was going crazy of like, what could possibly happen over here? So I remember some guy comes up to me and he starts like holding my arms. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Am I meant to fight? Like, I didn't know what was happening. So I start pushing against this guy. And then another guy came to me and we started dancing, and ended up, I came out of that experience and I was like, I don't know what that was, but I don't want to ever experience that again. And I wasn't breathing. Now you'll say like, okay, did I actually do breath work? And in a certain sense, that was my introduction to breath work, because how we enter something teaches us about our resistance to how we enter something. So I was so afraid to breathe, and I was so on edge that I thought like all these things are happening around me. I couldn't leave my mind. I had so much anxiety that I couldn't even get into the process.